Raiders fans, this is getting real. Our offense is full of question marks, and the latest moves have every fan looking sideways. Tough decisions, injuries that almost shut down the team, and draft picks that spark daily debates down the halls in Vegas. The truth is, the margin of error for this roster is straight up zero. What's going down in closed practices is not what we want to see, and the heat on the coaching staff is only turning up. Do you trust the front office plan, or are we headed for another year of heartbreak? So go ahead and hit that like button and stay till the end, because this could change everything. And the alarm bells are ringing on the Vegas offense. Because the wide receiver room is giving fans cold chills. We know the offense has some interesting pieces, but if the wide receivers flat out can't get separation from coverage, it's going to be a miracle to score points with any consistency. So far, nobody has really stepped up and taken the alpha role this team needs. Rookie Malik Benson looked like he was going to be that guy, but then came the preseason game against the Houston Texans, and he dropped 2 crucial balls. Is that the end of the world? Hell no. But it's that harsh reminder that rookies go through growing pains and development ain't cheap. But the rabbit hole goes way deeper when we look at Dante Thornton Jr. The 2025 4th-round pick has insane traits, 6'4" height, and runs the 40 in a blistering 4:30 seconds. How many dudes on the planet have that size with that kind of speed? Very few. Only problem is, playing in the NFL takes a lot more than just being a straight-line laser beam, and ESPN reporter Ryan McFadden dropped a recent roster projection that simply left Thornton off the final cuts. Is that a defensible coaching decision or a total waste of raw talent? According to reports from people around training camp, wideout Jack Beck hasn't taken off the way they hoped either, even though his physicality still helps in the run game. But what about Thornton? He spent most of training camp banged up and missed both preseason games. Being hurt at this point of the year is basically signing your own pink slip in the NFL. But hold up, because the script flipped at the last minute. The Raiders decided to cut wide receiver Noah Brown just 1 week after signing him. Since Brown has a very similar skill set to Thornton, that initial signing looked like the end of the road for the young wideout. With Brown out of the picture, the door is still wide open. General Manager John Spytek might decide to hold on to Thornton purely for his tempting upside. After all, if he finally unlocks his route running, there ain't a cornerback big enough or fast enough to lock down a monster of that size. The catch is, time is running out. And that brings us to the elephant in the room. Trey Tucker is a solid option, but he'd be at best a number 2 or 3 on any real contender in the league. Jalen Naylor came over in free agency, but seeing him on the field against the Texans didn't hype up a single soul. Are the front office guys going to go fishing for help in the trade market? Because high-level free agents just aren't out there anymore. Rolling with what we got and praying for the best is way too dangerous of a gamble for a team trying to get back to the playoffs. Is that a smart strategy or a front office blunder that's going to cost a lot of heads by the end of the year? The fan base is split, the locker room is buzzing, and we ain't going to see the real answer until the ball is actually kicked off. But if the problems out wide are raising doubts, the command center of the offense almost had a historic plot twist in the front office. Remember the number 1 pick from the last draft? It was only the second time in the modern era that the Raiders had that ultimate privilege. The pick looked like a no-brainer on paper. The team needed a franchise quarterback, and Fernando Mendoza was rolling in off an immaculate college season. Except history could have gone down completely different. According to behind-the-scenes info dropped by respected draft analyst Todd McShay, the Vegas higher-ups seriously considered Oregon's Dante Moore if he had decided to declare for the draft. The insider's exact words were clear. From my intel, they hadn't made up their mind. It would have been a really tough call because Mendoza was more ready for the moment, but Dante Moore's ceiling was higher. Just sit with that for a second. Moore's upside had part of the front office hooked, and the debate was very real. Obviously, taking Mendoza off the top spot was going to be an uphill battle. He won the college football playoff, brought the national championship home, and even locked down the Heisman Trophy after running through everybody. Plus, everybody knows minority owner Tom Brady has a heavy say in quarterback decisions, and Mendoza's playing style fits Brady's system way better than Moore's explosive, flashy profile, but knowing that name was on the table proves the process was surgical, and the debate about the future under center doesn't stop there. Even with all the hype around Mendoza, the coaching staff doesn't want to rush the process. The early expectation is that Kirk Cousins will start the season as the undisputed guy. Only thing is, not everybody is down with all that patience. Fox Sports analyst Steven Ruiz didn't hold back and put the strategy on blast. The Raiders plan on making us swallow a whole season of Kirk Cousins as part of Fernando Mendoza's developmental plan, he wrote. Ruiz argues that a weak supporting cast could stunt a young talent's growth, but after seeing Mendoza's poise in the preseason, the brass led by Brady should have the guts to hand over the car keys right out of the gate. At the end of the day, Mendoza is built different from most rookies. He shows a calm and a read of the game that you rarely ever see from first-year guys. So that leaves the question on every Raiders fan's mind. Protecting the kid on the bench behind a vet is the smartest move to lock down the franchise's future, or is it too much playing it safe that could waste a generational talent right in his rookie year? Is that long-term planning, or are they just scared to pull the trigger when the fans just want to see young blood winning games? The pressure on the coaching staff is massive, and any early stumbles are going to have the stadium chanting Mendoza's name in unison. And to top off the news drop of the day, the scare that put a freeze on the Raiders facility. During a routine training camp drill, running back Ashton Jeanty hit the turf holding his leg and needed help getting off the field. In that exact split second, total silence took over the complex. There was a real collective and heavy fear that the Stars' season was over before it even started. The whole team took a knee around him, sights no fan ever wants to see, especially when it's the anchor of the ground game this staff loves so much. But the word from inside the building brought a massive wave of relief. Reports indicate it was nothing more than an ankle sprain. Despite the scare, head coach Clint Kubiak kept it old school and tight-lipped with the media. I'm not going to get into specifics on injuries, he's working through it. He kept it brief. Cold words, but the rest of the presser dropped a glimmer of hope. Ashton got hurt in practice, and the whole team rallied around him. That says a lot about him working his way back and how much we lean on him. I'm super excited to get him back out there. There's still a window of hope that he could be ready to roll by week 1. For a guy who never had any major injury history in his career, that scare might have felt way worse just from the shock of his first pro pain. And the guy who confirmed the overall sigh of relief was insider Adam Schefter right there on the Pat McAfee show. It's the best case scenario, Schefter called it. Is it nothing? No, it's definitely something, and they still gotta monitor how long he's out. But those early reports with him unable to put his foot down had everybody holding their breath. At the end of the day, it was diagnosed as an ankle sprain. It's not a long-term deal. That much we know. Whew! At least we dodged that bullet. Hold up though, because our depth got exposed in a real ugly way. If Jeanty misses time, what happens then? Mike Washington Jr. has flashed some exciting moments, sure, but he's still a raw rookie who hasn't proven a single thing in the heat of NFL action. Behind him, the drop-off to proven names is glaring. Since the Raiders' offense is going to lean heavily on establishing the run to take pressure off the quarterback, being thin at this spot is a risk this franchise just cannot afford. Should the front office go shopping for a veteran insurance policy to bolster the backfield, or blindly trust Jeanty's miracle recovery and the Rook Washington? Is that trusting your guys or sleeping on a vital position out of pure stubbornness? Now I want to hear from you fans. Is the front office pulling the right strings, or are we marching straight into another year of unnecessary pain? The pressure in Vegas doesn't wait for nobody, and the yellow light is flashing hard. Time to step up and prove what we're about, or hold accountable the ones who gotta deliver results. Drop a like, lock in that sub, and don't miss a single beat of our daily coverage. Until next time, just win, baby!